This year's E3 was interesting if you were an Xbox or a Microsoft fan. Microsoft announced not one but two new upgrades to the already existing base Xbox One, the Xbox One S, which is the slimmer version of the current SKU, and the Xbox Scorpio, which will be a major upgrade hardware-wise, but more on that later. One of the key advantages of any slimmer machine is that it's expected to be smaller in form factor compared to the original version. Unfortunately, the Xbox One S obliges. It's far smaller than the already existing console. Microsoft claims that it's 40% smaller, and while we're not interested in debating those claims, those numbers seem to hold up at a casual cursory glance. Perhaps equally important, Microsoft has gotten rid of that old and bulky power supply by integrating it within the console form factor. It's one of the major design wins of the new console, so kudos to the engineering team for finally getting it right, although it did take them years to get rid of this nuisance. Excitingly enough, it also seems to hint that the Xbox Scorpio will most likely also have an inbuilt power supply. Well, hopefully anyways. Next up is the controller. When the Xbox One S was announced, we weren't really expecting Microsoft to update the controller in any way, but they kind of surprised us. The new controller is now Bluetooth compatible, which possibly opens it up for more device compatibility ventures, and it features a studded grip in the back, which provides a superior holding experience. Other than these two updates, the overall design and form factor seems to be similar as the base model. According to us, the Elite controller is still the way to go if you're looking for a premium and just better experience overall. Regardless, these updates to the standard controller are certainly appreciated. Looking at the technical side of things, yes, the Xbox One does feature slight hardware upgrades as well. The new SKU has slightly better ESRAM bandwidth, compute performance, and GPU teraflops, so overall, we're talking about a 7% increment in the GPU and shading performance, along with 14 GB per second of extra bandwidth. Despite the improvements, though, the slight bump in specifications is a non-issue for a couple of reasons. Most games have their frame rates capped at 30 or 60 FPS, so even if the Xbox One S could manage 2 to 3 frames per second faster on average, which itself is minuscule, it wouldn't show up most of the time. Meanwhile, some games with adaptive VSync that frequently dip below 30 may see less screen tearing. However, as Microsoft themselves have said, games with dynamic frame buffers could show a marginal improvement in image quality. So for something like Doom, where the Xbox One fails to hit 1080p consistently, the Xbox One S may end up seeing slightly higher resolutions slightly more often, but nothing to write home about. So overall, the gaming experience will most likely be the same with some minor improvements. The most likely reason for this slight spec bump was because they had moved to 16nm FinFET with the Xbox One S. There's a lot more potential there for a GPU clock speed increase than just 7%. If they wanted to, they could have easily bumped up the clocks by 100 to 150 MHz. It's why Nvidia's Pascal cards have such high clock speeds. But they didn't do that to ensure that there would be no noticeable difference in gaming performance. To conclude, while there is definitely a spec bump, the Xbox One S will still be lagging behind the PS4 in terms of raw performance. Talking about I/O ports, the Xbox One S features almost the same layout as the original, except that the Connect port has been removed, which further points to Microsoft's lack of interest in the device currently. However, the USB port and the controller pairing button had been moved to the front of the chassis, which is the way it should have been all along. So yes, let us ask the big question and give you a final verdict. If you don't have an Xbox One, should you buy an Xbox One S? Well, yes, absolutely. It offers a slightly better gaming experience compared to the original Xbox One, and will also take less space in your entertainment center due to its revamped design and internal power supply. If you're a fan of the Xbox 360, the Xbox One S is the best way to jump into the current generation of consoles. But what if you already have the original Xbox One? Should you buy the slim version? The answer in this case would be, it depends. Do things like the irritating external power supply, the lack of a 4K Blu-ray player, and the slightly inferior performance of the original Xbox One bother you? Then yes, the Xbox One S is a worthy investment. But other than that, there's absolutely no reason why you should jump into the bandwagon and buy this new slim model. You need to remember that there is a more powerful Xbox coming out next year that will play games in native 4K with fantastic graphics. So why not wait for a year and buy that instead? Given the design wins Microsoft have achieved with the Xbox One S, we believe that the Scorpio will be a better investment for current Xbox One users.
We hope you've enjoyed this video, so please consider subscribing to our channel. We do original content, reviews, graphics comparison, and much more, and try to upload a video every day. Thank you very much for checking us out.